The new Humanitarian aims to amplify the voices of humanitarian workers, refugees, asylum seekers, and people affected by conflict and disasters. Today, the story of Yusuf Sa'adu, part of a series of first-person narratives that dig into the humanity of humanitarian challenges. My name is Zubaida Baba Ibrahim, and I'm the new Humanitarian's first reporting fellow. On a journey to the northwestern Nigerian state of Kano, I met a store owner who had lived in the village of Warawa almost his entire life. Warawa is a small community with a dry and hot climate. Standing here wearing a thick scarf covering my head, I felt the sweltering heat and humidity against the extra fabric. The barren landscape, devoid of trees and teeming with dust, is a reminder of the devastating impact of drought on this community. I see children slowly pushing heavy carts filled with water. It's sad that the water in their jerrycans is quite murky. I'm worried that it will make them sick. I wanted to understand how access to water due to climate change has affected life in Warawa. So I asked the store owner. His name is Yusuf. From his childhood days, Yusuf's family experienced water scarcity. It made him lose out on education and still impacts personal relationship to this very day.
My name is Yusuf Sa'adu, and I am 42 years old. I was born in Unguwan Rimi in Kano, and I was 7 years old when we moved here. We lived on a farm. Alhamdulillah, I thank God. When I was a young child, maybe 9 years old, I didn't even know how the lack of water was affecting us. Our parents used to give us buckets to go and fetch water, and we would travel to any pond to get it. The water would be filtered so that we could drink or use it for cooking. At some point in those days, when I was young, we bought donkeys to make our journeys easier. With the donkeys, we could go as far as 3 or 4 kilometers to get water and bring that back home so that our mothers could use it to cook with. We would go to other places, like Gogel, which is a few kilometers north, or we'd go to the east, to a place like Jigawa, or head west to Yanlanya. It wasn't easy for us. Even though we got the donkeys, we would be out by 5 or 6 in the morning to get water. We would leave just after our morning prayer. But we wouldn't get back till like 10 a.m. We weren't the only ones at the pond. There would be many people, so we'd had to wait our turn. Those trips made us so tired and hungry, we would leave the house without eating any breakfast. So when you got back to the house, it was difficult to do anything else. We just wanted to lie down and rest. Even to help on the farm was difficult. The donkeys made the journeys better, but it still wasn't enough to make those trips easier. We had to get jerry cans instead of open buckets. We would use at least 10 jerry cans so that we could go as far as we needed to find water. The amount of time and effort it took to fetch water every day had a really big impact on us. First of all, we couldn't go to school. It's not that our parents didn't want that for us, but if they sent us to school, who would get water for the family? My parents are older and didn't have the strength to get it themselves. That's why we, the children, had to make that journey. By the time we would get back with the jerry cans of water, the school had already started. If we'd been out since early morning and only got back at 10 or 11, when will you go to school? Classes start at 7 or 8 in the morning. This meant no school for us. It really impacted all of us in the community. The lack of water is contributing to our poverty. If you're experiencing water stress, you will not be able to do a lot of things, including running a business. Even the food, without water, you are unable to get it. Whoever has abundant water has wealth. Water is the progress of life. For example, I want to go to my shop, but I don't have water. Will I ignore the part of not having water and go to my shop? and there is nowhere to buy water from. If that was possible, I could easily ask someone to fetch it for me, and I'll pay them. But even if you pay, where will the person get it from? It's up to me to go and get it myself. There is no other choice. Once you have to deal with water stress, there is also the possibility of being excluded by family and friends outside your immediate community. Because if a family member wants to visit you and remembers the lack of water, they will change their plans and say they can't come. The water used for drinking and bathing is of a very bad quality. For us, it's normal. We're used to it because that's our only option. But a visitor who isn't used to it and has to use the bad water, it's like you have harmed them. Because of this, no one comes to visit us unless we go and visit them. So you see, this water stress also affects our personal relationships. When there is a lack of water, there's also a lack of food. But for us, food is not even the most pressing issue. In our everyday lives, water is very important because water affects every aspect of our lives.
The New Humanitarian aims to amplify the voices of humanitarian workers, refugees, asylum seekers, and people affected by conflict and disaster, placing them at the center of the conversation about the policies and events that shape their lives. Subscribe to our podcast feed to hear more stories from people affected by humanitarian issues. This episode was produced and edited by Martha van der Wolf and Freddie Boswell. Sound engineering by Mark Mieto and original music by Whitney Patterson. I am Zubaida Baba Ibrahim. Thanks for listening.